Ice Over Borders' Tom H. Mann leaves a mixed message about ramping down operations in Minneapolis. I don't want to see any more bloodshed. We had great success with this operation, and we're leaving Minnesota safer. Did they accomplish their mission, or is Minnesota safer because ICE is leaving? Then, ABC News Nightline co-anchor Gaju Chang joins the table with a sneak preview of a true crime mystery that'll send a chill down your spine. Comedian Zarna Gareg is sharing her million-dollar excuses and having a heart-to-heart with couples and singles about Valentine's Day. And Feel Good Friday about an early Valentine for viewers on View Your Deal. Here come hot topics with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Ana Navarro, Sunny Host, and Alyssa Farah Griffin. Now, let's get things started. I don't know why I think it tell you and make you understand your love for me. Hello everyone and welcome to The View. Wow, I love that. A little Barry White. Set the mood for Valentine's Day this weekend. So let's kill the mood. Let's kill the mood happening in the country. Well, we like to keep everybody up to date, so here's what's actually happening. It looks like the ICE agents are finally ready to pull out of Minnesota. Border Czar Tom H. Mann announced yesterday that President Trump has agreed to conclude the months-long federal immigration enforcement surge in that state. Take a look. We don't want to see any more bloodshed. I don't want to see any more bloodshed. I have proposed and President Trump has concurred that this surge operation conclude. A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue through the next week. I'm not going to sit here and say anybody did anything wrong and that, they were, unprofessional. I'm going to say there are some issues here. We fixed those issues. We've had great success with this operation and we're leaving Minnesota safer. But one of the biggest critics of this surge, Senator Rand Paul, who's a Republican, says the administration still has a lot of work to do. So let's see what he had to say. To restore trust in ICE and Border Patrol, they must admit their mistakes, be honest and forthright with their rules of engagement, and pledge to reform. Tom H. Woman being there and now saying we're going to reduce this presence in the street is a good sign and a good step forward because the public needs to know too. If I go to a protest and I shout something at people, could I be killed? So, what do you think is behind this sudden decision to ramp down operations? I mean, kind of only 3 in 10 Americans approve of what ICE is doing. So the midterms are coming up and maybe they're thinking of their careers. I think it's a very political decision, unfortunately, and not a human decision. The fact that he said I'm not saying they did anything wrong and that Minnesota was left as to be a safer place. That is simply not true. 2 people are dead. There are people that have been injured. That city was terrorized. Families were torn apart. Kids weren't going to school. People were afraid to go and buy groceries. That is complete nonsense. And my question really going forward is okay, ICE out. ICE is leaving. Terrific. What about the accountability? We have Renee Good unlawfully killed in my opinion. We have Mr. Prey unlawfully killed in my opinion. And there's a New York Times report, and I hope that people really read it, that indicates that prosecutors began investigating Renee Good's killing and Washington, D.C. told them to stop. Federal prosecutors had a warrant to collect evidence from her vehicle, which is extremely important in proving that case. And Trump administration leaders, including the FBI director, Kash Patel, told them demanded that they drop it. And even now, even though the 2 Border Patrol agents who fired guns at Alex Prey that was fatal, they've been placed on administrative leave. DOJ's opened up an investigation into that, but they remain steadfast that they are not opening up an investigation into the unlawful killing of Renee Good. So how is Minnesota a safer place? How is it? Yeah, it's first. It's the surge that's ending. So ICE is not leaving Minnesota, but this inordinate thousands of agents that they had sent to Minneapolis is going to be drawn down. I don't think there's going to be closure in Minneapolis or in the country. Frankly, until there is a thorough, unbiased investigation of the death of Alex Prey, I think if we demand it, there will be. I think that if there's a change in who is in charge of Congress, and there's actual oversight by Congress, there could be but it's Alex Prey. It's Renee Good. It's Silvio Villegas who they killed in Chicago. It's the case of Liam Ramos, the 5-year-old little boy. I think January in Minneapolis was a inflection point in this country. It was the murder of Renee Good. It was the detention and using of Liam Ramos, the 5-year-old whose face and hat we all saw. It was that followed up by the death of Alex, the murder of Alex Prey. But what I want people to know is that there's 3,800 other Liam Ramos being held in detention centers whose names and faces we don't know, who are languishing in inhumane conditions, and there's got to be accountability. There's private prisons making all sorts of money by depriving these children, and the people held from some basic things like medicine and education. I mean, this cannot continue. We cannot be the greatest country in the world. We cannot be the United States of America and be prosecuting children for things that they didn't do. Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't know what the motivation for the decision was, whether it was political or not, but I think it was the right decision. And I think this in bright contrast shows the difference between a Kristi Noem and a Homeman. Like, not that you can agree with everything he's done, but he has experience. And one of the things that was not a prerequisite for most of the people in this administration was actual experience in the fields they've been appointed to. And Homan's been with the U.S. Border Patrol since 1984. And after this, and he worked in the Obama administration as well. Yes, he did. He crossed administrations, but many Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison said having Homan in charge was an improvement because Noem never talked to us. Bo never talked to us, and Homan did. This is why the coordination of the federal government and the local and the state mattered. They had to be having conversations for anything to be working. So this, in my opinion, is a step in the right direction. Do you know, though, that this metro surge in Minnesota is costing $18 million a week? The cost of training for these are taxpayers. In that clip, Homan said something about they didn't act unprofessional. Unprofessional wasn't the question at hand. It was untrained. The little shade on Christine Noem there, isn't it? Well, I think they were unprofessional. I mean, since when do you see masked men pushing women onto the ground? Pepper spray. Unprofessional is a nice way of putting unprofessional is what you wear to an office. It was worse than unprofessional. It was inhumane. It was inhumane. It was cruel. Well, so the hot topics will continue on a special Valentine's Day edition of The Weekend View. We're talking about the brand new bachelorette, who's also a star of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Rumors about Kim Kardashian's new boyfriend. Another one. And why the beefcake is back. Macho. The Weekend View is streaming on ABC News live Saturday and Sundays at 7:30 and 9:30 a.m., and there's a third streaming time on Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Thanks to our sponsor, Rock Skincare. We'll be right back. Yeah, baby. So Valentine's Day is tomorrow, but a record number, here's the bad news, a record number of Americans won't be celebrating. Why? Because according to a survey, 1 in 3 American men and 1 in 5 American women have not had sex in the past year, and loneliness is at an all-time high. Relationship experts blame a combination of online porn, unrealistic expectations from the online porn, from also and not only for that from social media also, and dating apps that let you swipe through hundreds of partners. No, I don't like this one. No. If no one's having sex, why are there 8.3 billion people on the planet? I can't get a seat on the subway. What do you think's going on? Well, it was interesting to me because it said that the data came from a significant long-term decline in sexual activity among young adults 18 to 29, and that it's been happening since 2010. I don't get that because I remember when I was in college, man, everybody was messing around with everybody. So, what are these young people doing? Are they just on their phones, or well, if you watch Tell Me Lies, you know they are all still having sex with each other, right? This thing is very highly addictive. I have to say I'm into it. But everything that you need to know is right on this thing. And no man, no matter how great he is in the sack, can compete with that. It must be that. It must be that, right? My problem is not competing with the phone. It's competing with my dog. Who is that? Throwing her out of the bed and out of the room is such a painful experience. But I want to tell young people who are not having sex, go to it. Get to it, because I hope one day you're going to have menopause and you're going to regret that you didn't have more sex where you were. Yeah, you're funny. You know why. That time they'll have another way to do it, just like they're coming up with every time I turn around. You don't have to have sex to have a baby. Sarah, you don't think it's surprising that young people aren't having sex with all those ages cover newly married couples too with young kids? Oh, that's true. So, I do think young kids are the biggest killer of sex everywhere. But 18 to 29-year-olds are actually the stats are that they're not getting married, that they're putting marriage off until there, and they're not having sex either. What's the point? What's I know? Okay, but wait though. At the same time that people aren't having sex, everybody is horny as hell watching heated rivalry. But moving on. So let me ask you something. What better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than by getting a divorce? Am I right? And if you want to hear about other people's marriages even worse than yours, come and see my show. My first ex-husband playing at the George Street Playhouse in New Brunswick, New Jersey this weekend, the 13th through the 15th. It stars the wonderful Vian Cox. She's great. Adrienne Moore and Mo. I'll be there. I will be there. Yes, it's really a funny show. You're going to seen it. Tell them how funny everywhere. It is funny. We've all seen the show with different actors. Go have sex and go see Joy. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll be right back. The View's got a sweetheart deal you're going to love for Valentine's Day. Get 10% off View merchandise site-wide by scanning the code on your screen and using the discount code Valentine now through February 16th. Welcome back. So, a new 2020 episode called Footprints in the Snow explores the mysterious murder of a 38-year-old mother in the Blue Mountains of Ontario, Canada, whose death was initially believed to be an accident until the shocking truth began to unfold. It's really interesting. I watched it. Watch the clip. One of the concerns was that it's a car fire, and if there was a body in the vehicle, and what kind of vehicle? Is it? I can't tell. It's fully engulfed. Is down in the ditch about 75 ft down, and you don't know if there's anybody around. I have no idea. The person who called 911 was also a part-time volunteer firefighter, and he took some pictures of the scene. One of the things that he said was that it looked like there were tracks leading from the vehicle up out to the road. Footprints. Footprints in the snow. In the snow like a little trench. There were some track marks in the snow as if somebody had walked out of the snow. Yes. Here to tell us more about it is ABC colleague and the co-anchor of ABC News Nightline, Guju Chang. Yay, I watched it. It was very Valentine's Day we present all of these things. Exactly. Just in time for Valentine's Day. The month of 2020 is called When Love Turns Lethal. When that's right. Well, that along with that your first ex-husband and having no sex sounds like the perfect topic. It's very thumbs up on love, don't worry. So, February is the cruelest month. The 20 this episode is full of twists and turns, which I really enjoy. But it starts with a married couple named Ashley and James who seem to have the perfect life. They really do. But as you dove into the story, what did you learn about these two? I think what you learn is that appearances can be deceiving. Right. On the outside, they literally had the fairy tale wedding the horse-drawn carriage, the princess, the fairy tale. And they had he's the dashing firefighter captain. She is the devoted mother of two. But it turns out when you dig deeper, there's infidelity, there's tension. And when she gets found in this fiery car crash, there are a lot of questions, And in the clip, we saw there had been a massive car fire, and as you addressed with law enforcement officials. There were footsteps in the snow as if someone had walked away. What were some of the other signs that things weren't quite right? Well, the car fire burned too hot for too long. So immediately there were questions asked, and you could see that whenever they were trying to find an alibi for the husband, there were even more questions. And you can just tell that the forensics and the circumstantial evidence on this case it was a piecemeal investigation that really got to the bottom of it. Now cases like this don't get solved without the detailed work of detectives and forensic scenes. I mean, that's the meat of these cases. So, talk about what they did do to find out what really happened to Ashley. You know what they did? They took the entire wreckage and they moved it to the forensic science lab in Toronto, 2 hours away, because they didn't want to disturb any of the evidence. They found traces of accelerant gasoline on her socks and other places. But what they couldn't find was soot in her lungs, which means she died before she wasn't breathing in that fiery crash. And then they found out that maybe her cause of death was strangulation, and so it was a homicide. He's a psycho. Well, yeah, but personal surveillance cameras were critical to solving this case, and they've been on all of our minds and screens since the FBI released footage this week of the masked person on Nancy Guthrie's porch. But how has the proliferation of these cameras changed the game? It's a total game changer in terms of criminal investigation, right? You can see it in the Nancy Guthrie case. In this case, it was almost like it had to prove a negative. So the husband had this alibi. Well, I took the dog walking in the morning, and so he says, "Look, let me show you the surveillance camera." It shows him walking out the door, but he turned the camera off. And so they made him map out the hike. I went on that hike with the detectives. And so 8 cameras in the neighborhood captured the detectives, but you know what? They didn't capture him on the morning of. Wow. And so it proved the negative. It's fascinating how law enforcement immediately canvasses neighborhood cameras just like they are in the case. Yeah. Well, we've all been watching Nancy Guthrie's case the last 2 weeks. When something like this occurs and garners extreme public interest, news outlets, experts, they're all over it. And so are plenty of social media detectives. Can their involvement actually be helpful, or does it hinder the case at all? You know what? Citizens often are the turning point. In this case, if you see something, say something. In this case, one of the children's teachers called in and said, "The daughter said to me, 'I'm worried about my mom. I heard her fall down the stairs and I didn't see her before I left for school.'" So the teacher called in, and that's when the detectives, were immediately suspicious. Teachers are crucial very often in these type of things. Yeah. Now you anchored this fantastic series, I love it, Impact by Nightline, which streams on Disney Plus and Hulu. You've used me. Thank you so much. As an expert on several of the episodes, and this week's episode is about a young woman named Piper Rackwell. Tell everyone who Piper is and why you wanted to cover her story. It is an absolutely fascinating deep dive into social issues right now. But can I just say you're not just an expert, you're one of our favorite experts. The producers at Impact are always like, "Can we interview Sunny?" She's a former prosecutor. She'll know. She knows about sexual crimes. "Can we interview Sunny?" And I'm like, every episode, we love having you on, but in this one is Piper Rackwell is sort of like the modern-day twist in child influencers. She was at the age of 8, 10, 11, making $300,000, $400,000 a month on YouTube. So, it's a new kind of child stardom. Mama, a juror, stage. Piece, but somebody gave you like entire roles. You know what I mean? You can just roll it. The nice floss, expensive floss, there's like designer floss out there. There is, I'm not making this up. Like if it's like the holder and the thing like give me that like wicks vapor up. Wait, nobody. You never buy that for somebody you don't like. Yeah, but wait a minute. 'Cause I thought that was a Latino thing. You're telling me Indians started it. We call it no. We call idu. Vaporu. No, that is not big vapor. What is that? We're talking about the original, the blue with the lid on top of your chest. Yes, translation. That's also the amount of closeness. That's it. We don't want any more than that. I'm 50. I'm past the stage of like wanting to do it anymore. Yes. Well, you're the same. She's one of the people we're just talking about 'cause you're hot. Yeah. No sex. People are like, "How do you turn on the heat?" I'm like, "I'm 50. Any more heat, I'm going to have a stroke." Let me ask you, 'cause I read somewhere that I didn't know this about you. Maybe it's in your book that you're quite the matchmaker. Who have you set up? Well, I set her up and then she turned me down. She thought my setup was no good because who's that? My friend Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler. Yes, you set her up. Yes, because she's, look, she's so great. Look, she's Amy Poehler, right? But she can't just date anybody, right? I tried explaining this to her. I said, "Your next move has to be a billionaire with heart disease." Yes, but because she's not your average girl next door, you know her heart. And I didn't just say that. I found her the billionaire with heart disease. That's what she doesn't tell people. You know how many years I hung out outside the Stanford Hospital cardiovascular? I'm because they're all getting treated there. I'm like, which one of them is single? That's it. Before we go, I hear that this weekend is not only Valentine's Day, which you don't celebrate, but it's also your birthday, which you do celebrate. Happy birthday. We got you a gift of your favorite things. Knock yourself out. Oh my God, look at your mixed paper. Oh yes, look at all the cloth. Yes, the international symbol of love, let's hold it together. Oh yeah, this is the international symbol of love mixed with O. We love having you here. Congratulations on order success. You're doing great. Our thanks to Zarnagard. Go to our website for more information and dates of her $1,000,000 Excuses tour. And you can buy her book, This American Woman, by scanning the QR code on your screen. And members of our studio audience are all going home with a copy. We'll be right back. We have an early Valentine's Day gift for our viewers because we've partnered with vendors for at least half off the most popular View Your Deal brands you love. All you have to do to get these deals is point your cell phone camera at the QR code on the screen, but it's only while supplies last. So let's get shopping with our dear friend Greta Monahan. All right. Well, we got number 7. Stay smooth, firm, and bright with number 7 always. That's why we bring it back. Yes. Yeah, we have their newest age-defying serums, and I'm obsessed with them because they tackle signs of aging for more youthful, glowing skin, and you can put them on from face to neck. So they really are double duty. The Restore and Renew is the multi. Is that the one you have there? A booster serum that it gives you firmer-looking face and neck. Plus, it also has a fortifying complex to keep you glowy and hydrated. Also, the Lifts and Illuminate that has a triple action to it. So this serum, yes, it really helps with the appearance of uneven skin tone, which I have, dark spots, hyperpigmentation, and gives you that reveals that radiant layer that's there. And they also give it a boost with extra vitamin C, so this works. All of number 7's line is on our website, 50% off plus free shipping. All right. Now our award-winning stylist, Ashley, told me this is one of her favorite brands, Bra 30. She said, I am obsessed. So the Sepa cotton and spandex tanks tell them how great they feel. They're just so good. Like, you rip your bra off when you get home, ladies. You do. And then, but you want to kind of don't be hanging out there all the time. So you just put this on. I love sleeping in. She sleeps in them. You can sleep in them. You can wear them for lounging, errands, travel, post-workout. And I'm going to say post-off. A lot of my friends or my girlfriends going in for breast surgery from, sectomy. This is great because there's no underwire, no straps, no clasp. I also love these lounge sets. So they are so good. We have a huge assortment online. Save 50% off today from Bra. Very nice. Now, Sunny, I know you love Nasho socks. I wear well, Sarah taught me about these, and I wear them all the time. I have them in every single color, and I mean, my husband laughs at me. He's like, more in Visa socks. I'm like, yes. Well, 'cause they go up on the front, but they don't slide down on the back. Yes, because they are made and designed with a special gel heel grip so they do not let you down. And this design is specific. The other thing I love is that they don't cramp the toes. They don't dig in so you can move your toes comfortably. It's the no slip that gets me 'cause you ain't reaching in or having to constantly take your shoe off. It doesn't feel good, but it also looks good to show a little sexy ankle. Just take it 50% off. And today the 3X is just $11. $11. Sunny, I knew you were eyeballing this. This is new. I haven't seen new to the view. I love that. Now the Viant Roll offers targeted textured vibration massage and muscle relaxation. Now this is really about mobility, reviving that everyday muscle tightness, making you feel good, getting rid of that discomfort you feel, that pain. And this has multiple, you can see the texture, vibration zones and settings. And it rotates you guys. So you can do calves, you can do neck, you can do back, you can do feet, whatever you want. Feel better and save 50% off on your vibe. All right, so this is how you get Besting class blending performance. I absolutely love my beast at home. I cannot say enough about it. This is not just about smoothies. I use this from morning until night because yes, it's gorgeous. It's innovative. This is a 12-rib design go which actually increases the turbulence so it gets through anything. I'm talking ice-tough ingredients. They don't stand a chance. There's nothing that this little guy can't do. So one-button operation, ladies. This is so good. So you can either put it on for 60 seconds smart and it just goes, or you can put it on pulse. That's it, nothing to figure out. It's designed to reduce noise too, because I leave so early in the morning. I don't want to wake everybody up. So this bundle today comes 3 vessel sizes. Get this. Storage lids, drinking lids, carry cap, a leak-proof straw cap, and 2 straws. So the whole family, this actually helped us to be healthier because my kids use it. I love it. Like a little lantern in the night. This is a system. That's good. Now, we wouldn't be us if we didn't bring I have these my little petty sandals. Tell them about Sarah. Matte comfort with toes separating. Well, you also don't have to worry about switching in and out of those temporary ones. You can just walk right out in them. Call them petit couture. I've been carrying them. I have had them in my salons for almost 30 years. I love these. They're practical. They're time-saving for people who love their pedicure. Whether you're doing it at home or you're doing it in the spa, doesn't matter because you're not just walking around with something that's flimsy and throw out and hurts you. You're back because this, if you take a look, this sole, it's not just the toe separators that are soft and cushioned. It's also the sole. You can actually get reliable arch support. They're textured. They are an actual recovery shoe. 50% off. Say 50% off on it, right? A big thanks to Greta Monahan. The clock is ticking. You have 24 hours to get these amazing deals at few.com, and members of the studio audience are going home with a gift from Invisox. We'll be right back. Well, that's our show. Thank you all for coming.